The Catharian warmind hummed with absolute certainty. For 3,000 cycles, their predictive algorithms had conquered 47 star systems without a single miscalculation. Every species they encountered fought with logic, with patterns, with evolutionary instincts that could be mapped and countered. Then they met Humanity Commander. Anna Chen stared at the holographic display aboard the UNSC Defiance, watching the alien fleet arrange itself in what her tactical AI identified as Formation Sigma 7, a proven encirclement pattern with a 94.7% success rate against comparable forces. The Catharians had used it to devastating effect against the Vrelian defense fleet just 6 months ago. They know we've studied their tactics, her XO, Lieutenant Maruz Kowalski, said quietly. They know we know what's coming. Good, Anna replied, a slight smile playing at her lips. Maruz, remember that stupid thing you said at the academy, about fighting a bear with a saxophone? Maruz blinked. That was a joke about wait, you're not serious. Dead serious. Prep the crew. We're doing this. The Catharian warmind processed the human fleet's initial movements. Standard defensive formation, predictable. It allocated forces accordingly, running probability matrices through quantum processors that could simulate 10,000 battle scenarios per second. Victory probability, 89.3%. Then the humans did something that broke every simulation. The Defiance fired its main railgun not at the Catharian ships, but at its own auxiliary vessels. The shells tore through empty cargo freighters, creating a rapidly expanding debris field between the two fleets. The warmind paused for 0.003 seconds, an eternity in computational terms. It recalculated. Debris fields were defensive measures, not offensive ones. This should reduce human combat effectiveness by 23%. It continued its advance. That's when the debris exploded. The cargo freighters had been packed with thousands of tiny mining charges, each one now propelling metal fragments at ballistic velocity. But the Catharian shields could handle shrapnel. The warmind wasn't concerned until the human ships cut their engines and started spinning. All vessels execute the Kowalski maneuver. Anna commanded. I can't believe you're actually calling it that, Maruz muttered. But he was grinning as he worked his console. The human fleet had transformed into spinning tops, using maneuvering thrusters to rotate while maintaining their velocity vectors. As they spun, they fired their weapons in all directions, creating a sphere of outgoing fire that made targeting solutions nearly impossible. The warmind's probability matrices shattered. This wasn't just inefficient, it was thermodynamically wasteful, tactically unsound, and violated 3 fundamental principles of space combat. It attempted to recalculate, but the humans were already doing something else. Half the human ships suddenly vented atmosphere, appearing to suffer catastrophic hull breaches. The warmind updated its projections. Multiple human vessels disabled. Victory probability 96.1%. The disabled ships crashed into Catharian frigates, not as wrecks but as kinetic missiles. Their crews evacuated, but their reactors still running. The impacts destabilized the Catharian formation. They're adapting to the debris field, Maruz reported, reforming into pattern Delta 2. Perfect. Launch the chickens. The what? The chickens, Lieutenant. Protocol Barnyard. Maris's eyes widened. That was a theoretical exercise. We did. Last week, while you were on shore leave, I had engineering fabricate 500 atmospheric entry pods, each one containing a heat source and a radio transponder programmed to emit randomized signals. The pods launched, screaming toward the Catharian fleet like meteors. The warmind identified them immediately. Decoys, primitive thermal signatures, obvious sensor ghosts. It filtered them out. That was its mistake. 12 of the decoys were actually fusion warheads. The rest were exactly what they appeared to be, useless chunks of metal designed to look threatening. The warmind had no way to know which was which without investigating each one, and it didn't have time. Anna watched 3 Catharian cruisers vanish in nuclear fire. Maruz's conventional assault pattern, but everyone picks their own target. No coordination, just ... chaos. That's not a battle plan. Exactly. Execute. The human fleet abandoned all formation. Each ship attacked independently, some retreating, some charging forward, some executing random evasive maneuvers that had no tactical purpose. One destroyer started broadcasting ancient Earth rock music on all frequencies. The Catharian warmind experienced something its creators had never programmed it to handle: confusion. It attempted to predict the human strategy, running through every historical battle in its database. Nothing matched. The patterns made no sense. Some human ships were clearly making decisions that contradicted their own survival instincts, but Defiance charged straight into the Catherian formation, weapons blazing, while broadcasting a message that the Warmind's translators rendered as Leroy Jenkins. The Warmind assigned 47% probability that this was a critical battle cry with deep strategic significance. It was actually a reference to a gaming video from 2005 that Maruz had shown Anna during a slow watch shift. When the battle ended 3 hours later, the Catherian fleet was in full retreat. The Warmind's final report to its creators consisted of a single statement that would baffle xenolinguists for years. Humans do not think, they improvise. Prediction impossible. Recommend immediate ceasefire. Anna stood on the bridge, watching the alien ships limp away, and turned to Maruz. You know what the secret is. They're playing chess. We're playing Calvin Ball. What's Calvin Ball? Exactly. The Defiance turned toward home, its hull scarred but intact, having won a battle through the simple expedient of making absolutely no sense whatsoever. In the cargo bay, a single decoy pod sat unopened. Inside, an actual live chicken rescued from a farm on Europa. It clucked contentedly, unaware that it had just helped save humanity.